κάτι πάρα πολύ σημαντικό, το οποίο θα μας το αναλύσει ένας εκ των χορηγών μας και ευχαριστούμε πολύ τη Zetes-Netwave για αυτήν την προσέγγιση. Θα καλέσω στο βήμα και θα μου επιτρέψετε να γυρίσω στα αγγλικά, καθότι θα μιλήσει στα αγγλικά, αλλά οι συνεργάτες του από τη Zetes, για όποιον έχει αργότερα απορίες, είναι εδώ για να εξηγήσουν στα ελληνικά, αν χρειαστεί, σε οποιονδήποτε χρειαστεί κάτι. Mr. Zetes-Logi.C, SCV Director of Zetes, please, we welcome you. Θα μας μιλήσει για τους νέους κανόνες που αφορούν το pharma serialization και που έρχονται αμέσως. Θα παρακαλούσα κατά τη διάρκεια της ομιλίας τα μέλη του πάνελ, τον κύριο Κώστα Κεραμιώτη από την ΑΟΜΕ, τον κύριο Σταύρο Κοκκινίδη από τη Sanofi Aventis, τον κύριο Σιαφλά από τη Sarmet, τον κύριο Μασαντώνη από την Cooper και τον κύριο Κοντόρη από τη Vianex, να πάρουν τις θέσεις τους. Βασίλη, και εσύ ως συντονιστής. Mr. Zetes-Logi, the panel is yours.
Kalimera, excuse me for my Greek, but it will be in English. So. Okay, so what's happening in the pharma industry today, and it's things that are happening globally in a lot of other industries. And I will explain roughly what's happening today. So today, the FMD, the European legislation around pharma, it's all about serialization. It's all about authentication. And I will explain what it means, but finally, for a manufacturer, I need to put that data matrix on a product with a unique serialized number. So this is a big impact in the manufacturing side, because here you need to upgrade all your packaging lines. You need to be sure to be capable of doing this in real time, and afterwards also give the informations to a European hub of information. So obviously, what is very interesting, what we see in the pharma and other markets is what is very important would be the aggregation for the future. Why? Because serializing an item brings a lot of complexity in supply chain. You will see linked to certain conditions, if you're exporting or if you're under Article 23, you have a big impact in the supply chain linked to this unique serialized number. And how to simplify the things, it's with aggregation. What is aggregation? It's all about knowing that this item is in this box, is in that pallet. So when I scan this box, I know exactly what are the items inside. So it simplifies a lot the processes in the supply chain. Today, with the legislation, there's a very big impact for the wholesalers because of this unique identifier that you need under certain conditions to decommission towards the medicine verification system. So what is it all about? What is the setup? This is the European setup. You have serialization that is done on the unique product. You will have also, all these elements have a physical identifier, but also a digital identifier that you will be giving to what we call the medicine verification system, which in that case is the European hub. And then all the intermediate actors in the supply chain have an impact to do risk-based verification or decommissioning if things are sent to an area where nobody can decommission the serialized number. You see, if I send it to a pharmacy, the pharmacy will have a system. When they dispense this item to you, they will be capable of decommissioning this item. So it means they will take it out from the European database. But if you send the goods to an organization that's not capable of decommissioning, it means the wholesaler needs to decommission. Okay? And so here you begin having a very big impact in your operations. So if we look the setup for the manufacturers, it's all about serialization at the packaging line, giving a digital number linked to a physical item and posting the elements to the medicine verification system. So this impact is very important. Huge investments have to be done because here we speak about real-time serialization. The impact is very important, especially if you have high-speed packaging lines. It gets even more important because here you need to handle the speed, the serialization, and obviously the aim is to keep the overall equipment efficiency and the uptime. So this has a very big impact in the manufacturing side. If we go to the supply chain, in the wholesaler spot, Here, it's all about spot verification linked to if you buying goods from people that are not in the white list, you need to control the goods to be sure that these serialized numbers have been posted and are authentic. So this is a very big impact because it depends really from where you're sourcing your products as a wholesaler. You have a white list. If the companies are in the white list, you don't have to do the checking, you will do random checking. And then it's all about delivering. So when you deliver, you will see that you have an impact linked to certain cases. Or not, if you send directly to city pharmacies, you don't have an impact. There's a lot of discussions also for hospitals, because hospitals have limited space to do decommissioning. And so today, for example, in France, the wholesaler organization is trying to put up aggregation to be capable of sending everything to the hospitals. The hospital just reads the box, decommissions all the items. So the aggregation will probably be the solution for supply chain efficiency. That's for sure. It will come in the future through probably legislation. Other markets have gone. In the US, for example, they are going on track and trace, so there is aggregation. The Russian market is going on serialization and aggregation and track and trace. So probably the future will be aggregation in the future in Europe. Well, at least I hope for you, if you're a wholesaler, because otherwise it's quite complex. What is it all about? It's all about edge technologies. These are really the execution technologies in the warehouse. So how do I, with this impact, improve my efficiency? Linked to, obviously, the constraints. You all have constraints of sizes of warehouses, of space, of technologies that you can implement, the way you're really implementing your processes. And then we have what we call the repository. That's the link with the compliance part of the story. That's the link with the NMVO repositories or the European hubs. You see, so there's a two-block inside that setup, which is very important because this setup allows you to have scalability, because it means your process is capable of scaling without having an impact on the compliance side of the story. And then you post, as a wholesaler, you will post to an NMVO organization, which is a local hub for each country. Greece is outside because it's postponed, the delay. Cyprus is inside today with a deadline of February 2019, so it's not very far. And what we see, all the rest of the countries in Europe, apart from Belgium and Italy, they have also a postponed date. But all the other countries are in this type of setup. So if you have activities today as a manufacturer with European countries, you will need to have the setup of serialization and sending all these serialized numbers to the European hub. So the impact is very important. There's a lot of costs, and it's all about trying to get that efficiency linked to a constraint. And that's very important because often you get constraints, but the aim is to try and find the best efficient way of managing these constraints. And these are the, let's say, the task or the transactions linked to the type of profile. If you're a pharmacy, you need to dispense, you have the capacity of destroying and sampling and verifying goods. And this is with a link every time with the national hub. So you have a system that's connected and you need to connect it to the national hub to be capable of checking is an authentic product. I give it to the patient, in that case I decommission to take it out of the European repository, so I cannot have twice the product sold, because in that case you're sure that it's a fraudulent, the product is not an authentic product. So this is what it's all about. And then as a wholesaler, you see you have also a lot of different tasks and actions to fulfill, which can be linked to your customer that asks you to do some checking because he has doubts on his capacity of putting the data matrix in a readable way, because this is not just about writing the data matrix. The data matrix needs to be readable up to the pharmacy. So it's not just saying, oh, I've put a data matrix, everything's okay, ooh, everything's nice, but in the pharmacy, nobody can read it. Because yeah, you will have a big issue. You will not be able to decommission the products that you're putting in the European hub. So you have a major issue. And this is what it's all about. So there will be probably, you will be asked if you're a wholesaler to do some sampling, checking of data matrix and to do some risk-based checking. And obviously, you will also have the decommissioning to do for certain cases. So the cases where you will have strong decommissioning to do, the stronger impact if you export. If you're exporting the impact, you will need to decommission each item. And for example, I was discussing with a customer 2 weeks ago. They have a lead time of 2 hours to ship in export, and they have 3 pallets, 25 boxes. So you multiply 25 boxes times 3 pallets times the number of items per boxes, you can imagine the impact in your process. So this is huge when you look at these type of things, and this is where you need to put more efficiency. I saw in the slides before about technology. Technology is a facilitator. It will not do everything, but it will help. It will help you to get a more efficient process. And also, if you also have decommissioning to do, if you under what we call the Article 23, so if certain products that have been manufactured for people are sent to veterinary organizations, because veterinary organizations, for example, will not decommission that serialized number, you need to decommission for them. And these are the lists. That is universities, if you send medicine to universities, if you send medicines to prisons, schools, because these people will not decommission. Remember, the decommissioning is done in the pharmacies. Hospitals today have a big impact, because you can imagine if the public hospitals are often very big. So here they have an impact of decommissioning. And this is where probably some setups will be done with aggregation, with wholesalers to facilitate for the hospitals to be capable of decommissioning in mass. Because the impact is very important. In a pharmacy, the impact will be the time that you're capable of staying when they dispense. But imagine if you have a response time of 5 seconds, you will have a queue of 10 people just to buy 3 products. So you can imagine the impact when you begin multiplying the things. So what is important is how do you bring these constraints in existing processes, legacy solutions, and with the physical constraints that you have. And this is very important because often when we have discussions, people say, oh, I will see with my warehouse management system vendor, I will see with my ERP vendor, but at the end, all the customers that gave us this feedback in the beginning came back. Why? Because the impact is very strong. You need to be capable to be, firstly, compliant, but you also need to find efficiency, okay? The ERP will not give you the efficiency, and your business cannot go at the speed of the ERP, because the speed of the ERP is very slow. And obviously, you will need to put intelligence in the processes. Why? Because the processes, to be efficient, you will need to put more intelligence, more processes that are capable using different type of technologies linked to the different constraints. And that's why often saying my warehouse management system vendor will do it. The first question is, can they deal with serialized numbers at item level? The second question is, can they do aggregation? That's the second question. And the third question is, what is the best technology to do these type of decommissioning? And then you go factors, you have less and less actors that are capable of responding. And then it's all about scalability, because today, often, you don't know what you don't know. So today you have a vision of, very short of, what are the items that I have that impact in serialization. But tomorrow there will be more items, probably. Your business will scale, so you will have a stronger impact. And this is where the scalability, each time when we discuss with customers, often they want to go very quickly in a very high level of technology, but at the end you come to something very simple because you have a lot of uncertainty on your business, on what you will be really needing to do. So it's all about using best technologies and putting up the best process. So what we do is often we have standard solutions on a device that's capable of doing it. Not the most efficient way, but it's the best way to begin. Why? Because of the uncertainty of what it's going to look like in the future. And so here we have all the transactions to do, all the different tasks that you need to do, or not corresponding to the business you are doing. So there's a lot of rules. For example, you can recommission a product if you have decommissioned it 10 days. Since 10 days. If you're at the 11th day, you will not be capable of recommissioning the product because that's not authorized by the European Hub. So there's a lot of different business rules linked to activities that you can do that are put and imposed by the European Community and the Falsified Medicine Directive. Then you come to things that are much more performant, that is with tables with camera-based solutions, so that you can do mass reading of data matrix, check the ones that are not readable, and also check the ones that are not authentic if there's an issue. So there's different possibilities. There's no magic solution. The magic solution would be, I have a tunnel, 65 cameras, I read from the bottom, from the top, from everything, but then your product needs to be on levitation. And for the moment, nobody has invented it. So I don't think you will find it. If you find it, please call me or send me an email, because I will be very interested. But at the end, you have constraints. You have constraints linked to your products. You have constraints linked to the physical layout that you have. You have a lot of constraints linked to the speed of your deadlines linked to your orders, okay, on the critical path. So there's a lot of parameters to take into account, and probably there's a lot of segmentation to do linked to the products. For example, for one customer that's delivering boxes, full boxes of the same product, we are aggregating in the inbound receiving. So that because he has a very short lead time, we aggregate in the inbound receiving, because in the inbound receiving you have much more time. So he scans all the items, puts it in a box, put a label on the box, and then when they are doing the preparation, scan the box, and we decommission all the items. So there's a lot of possibilities. It's a question of understanding the process and finding the right technology to help. Then you have things that are more implicated in existing lines with the same result, because the aim is to always have the same result, be capable of reading the product, be capable of authentifying the serialized number, and then if there's an issue, point out the issue. Here, what is also very interesting, you have an image bank. So if your customer asks you why you have a lot of serialized numbers that you are not capable of reading, you have an image bank to prove finally that you're doing the correct things. And at the end, that's the issue is not on your side, but more maybe on their side, on the writing of the data matrix and the granularity and the quality of the data matrix that is written in the packaging line. So other setups that we have built on conveyors. So here, it's either we do it in the pick or the pack. Okay, in the pick, often you will use technologies like voice picking with a scanner to scan the items and the serialized numbers, or you do it in the pack. Once it's picked, it's laid out in a certain way, and then we put it in a conveyor, and we have a huge reading station inside where we're capable of capturing all the data matrix. So there's a lot of different possibilities. That's just to show that there's a lot of different possibilities. There's a lot of technologies today outside that you can find. Afterwards, it's putting it in the right process, in the right area to deal with the right products. Because here, what is very complex is the data matrix is on the 6 sides. So here, you need to try and find a way of ensuring that somebody is putting the data matrix in a readable way. Because otherwise, it means you need to manipulate all the time the item. Or we go on things that are much more high-speed reading. Here it's autonomous stations, conveyors, all the readers. So we can scale up the cameras from 4 to 6. It depends how you're putting the product. And we have an ejection station. So automatically the things are done. If the product arrives and it's not readable, or the serialized number cannot be authenticated, we eject. So it means here you have the bin of ejection. Then afterwards you go in another process of analyzing why it has been ejected. So there's a lot of different possibilities, and this is what I think we need to keep in mind, because the impact is huge. It can be very important linked to your activity. Some wholesalers say, oh, I don't have an impact because finally it's just to deal with the returns from the pharmacies. Of course, if it's just the returns of the pharmacies, you're not in a very strong lead time to deliver, so the impact is not very huge in your business. I can understand that you will not go and probably put this type of machine to do that. You'll probably take a handheld device and you will decommission with a handheld device. But if you go on activities where a big part of your activity is in exporting or delivering prisons or delivering areas that cannot decommission, in that case, it's worthwhile to try and study something that's much more performant. And then we arrive to the top level, like what I was saying before. We have the bottom side, which is the execution capacity, the different technologies to execute. And then we arrive to the repository side, which is the side that will bring the compliance to the connectivity to the European hub or the national hubs. But also here we begin having on other markets topics linked to artificial intelligence, because here we're collecting a lot of data. And so here, artificial intelligence is based on the collection of data and what you want to look to with these data. And take exogenous data like weather, what is the impact on weather on my business in the future, to bring maybe to ameliorate your resources, the number of resources you have per warehouse or per store, or these type of things. So here, we have that level is the level that's collecting all the events generated by the execution level, posting and being compliant with the different levels of a European hub or national hubs, and also collecting the informations. So what we have in that repository, what we always explain, you have the historical perspective, which is what has been done yesterday. So here you can see, and if you have a control, you can give all the activities that has been done. We keep the data for 6 years because it's a legal requirement. So here you will see all the links. If you go on aggregation, the links between pallet, item, box. What is the original pallet? What is the original box? And you have the whole history and the whole story of an item. But you also have in these type of repositories, the today perspective is the inventory. So here with these type of activities, you get the granularity of your inventory is much thinner because you're going to really precise things. And this is where things sometimes get interesting, especially if you're a global actor, let's say pan-European actor, where you have 5, 6 ERPs outside in each country because your company has been built on acquisitions, and you have all the legacy solutions. And when you speak to the CFO, what is the level of stock? You have 3 people that are sending Excel sheets every Friday to try and consolidate the stock with different codes. Obviously, it would be too simple if everybody has the same article code. And here you're getting in very complexity. And here with these type of solutions, you're capable of consolidating very easily all the informations in real time. Because here you have all the events that are inbound and outbound, and you're capable of consolidating all the information. And then we have the forward perspective, is how can I interact with my supply chain in issues that are arriving. For example, if a truck is not departing at the correct time now, what is the impact on the delivery? If you have a buffer, the expected time of arrival. If you have a buffer of 1 hour, if he has lost half an hour in leaving the warehouse, probably he will arrive on time because he has buffer. But when you adding up all the sequences, that is the preparation, the delivery, consolidation, warehouse, next delivery, when you're bringing the whole story, then you begin having an interesting vision of where are your areas where you can have an issue. And if you have an issue, how can I interact with the people that need to put under control the issue? Because that's what it's all about. It's not just about collecting data, but you will see it's more about building alerts that are capable of sending to the right people to put under control the issue. So how does it work? We collect informations from different apps. That is legacy solutions, ERPs. We also work on IoT. What is IoT about for us? It's all about data streaming. IoT, we work on wide area, low energy networks. So it means you have a sensor that can monitor temperature. You take the sensor, it doesn't need energy. His life expectancy is 3-4 years. You put it in the truck and automatically you begin having information. Because it's a network that's built on people like Sigfox or LoRa networks. So this facilitates a lot, but this is just a sensor. So this sensor, you need to link it with this order, this product, and with that, when you have the linkage between this unique ID with attributes linked to one order, one product that has a specific rule of temperature, I'm capable of having real-time monitoring of what is exactly happening in my supply chain linked to this product, and all the history also. Because if your customer says, tell me exactly what happened on that product for the temperature, because I have a doubt of what you have done, you can give the whole history of the thing. And here you can say, the sensor gives me an information every 30 minutes, or every 10, every 15. So automatically it simplifies a lot the supply chain, because here you don't need any connectivity. The big story of collecting temperature, for example, in the pharma industry in the truck, often you need a sensor that's in the truck. you need energy, you need a GSM box if you want real time, that the GSM box sends you the information. And so you need to handle the energy part of that, and that's very static. So it means all your trucks need to have that connectivity, otherwise you're not capable of consolidating all the information. Here, finally, the sensor is autonomous. And this is what makes it very interesting. Then we collect all the informations, we consolidate all the information, so we have all the links. That is, remember that unique ID, if he's associated to one pallet, and I know exactly what's inside the pallet, I know what's inside the box, I can give you the temperature of one product, you see? With its business rules, because I know the business rules of that product. And then we publish to all the country falsified medicine directives, for example, to the Russian hub, to the Chinese hub, to the European or the national hubs. And then we have other data that are valuable for the organization. It's not just about compliance, because compliance, obviously, that you need to do. But then there's also valuable information for different teams internally, or sometimes externally, to share information with partners, with business partners. So that's all the possibilities that you have in these type of repository organizations. It's all about collecting information, consolidating the information at all different levels, adding business rules, and then capable of sharing the information in a selective way. Here you aren't sharing everything with everybody. You're selecting information that you can share with one or another provider. And then it's all about collecting different types of information, consolidating and pushing it to the right people that need the information in their daily job and to be capable of executing their business correctly. So what we do in a simple way, it's collect different status. We compare the elements with elements of compliance or with a plan, SLA or KPIs, and we generate alerts and we empower the different business actors in the supply chain to be capable of ensuring that this issue is under control and I've sent it to the right person. Because often when you have, the worst thing you can do in companies is I have an issue, I send an email to 25 people. Who's going to take it? I don't take it. If you send me an email and there's 10 people in the list, okay, that's not for me. You see, and this is what it's all about. It's really have the capacity of driving the issue to the right stakeholder, to the right person to put it under control. Well, just to conclude, the conclusion is, I think the wave is here. You cannot, this will not disappear because we see it in several markets. We're working in the explosive industry in the past. We're working in agro-science, in pharma, tobacco. This way of, the way things are built with serialization, with a European hub and all collecting all the informations, this will be the future for a lot of products. So this impact today is huge in the supply chain. So we cannot avoid it, I believe, but we need to know how to surf it correctly and to take advantage of these type of issues. Okay, thank you very much.